Yes, thank you, Frank. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Academy number 78 about Nfield security and compliance. We would like to, it has been on the agenda for a long time to do this, to do this webinar about this topic. It's a topic that gets a lot of attention at NIPO, all aimed, of course, to offer you the most secure solution with Nfield. And this session is aimed at sharing the knowledge on all security efforts and to inform you where you can find the security information regarding Nfield. This all with the aim, of course, so you can answer security questions from your customers, or perhaps you're being audited, so you have to provide some details about Nfield to the auditor. So let's start. Let's see. Next, yes. The agenda for today. First, we would like to start with an overview of security and compliance at NIPO and Nfield, of course. We get a lot of questions, and we also decided that as a next topic, it would be nice to share the most frequently asked questions to the group, so you can benefit from that knowledge as well. Then we would like to take a look at the Nfield Trust Center. This is the place where we have put all security information, so you can look it up and share with other parties. We have a new option as well, a new feature. It's called the Nfield Evidence Portal that we would like to show. This contains an AI chat agent that can help you browse through our security documentation, so you don't have to open all documents. You can do it via the chat, ask the questions, and get responses from the documentation. Then there's also time for questions, of course. But let's start with security and compliance at NIPO. So we've shared this topic in a couple of sections. The first section we would like to share with you is about our security controls. For security management, we have offered a couple of facilities. The first being that every customer gets a private and individual domain. What we mean with that is that all your projects are stored on your own individual domain, and nobody has access to that except you. And this also includes our employees. We do not have access to your domain, unless, of course, you explicitly request this for customer support purposes. We sometimes get questions from customers who run into an issue like, can you have a look at my domain? Then you can see what I'm doing, but obviously that is not so straightforward for us to do because of this security reason. Second point is the access control and logging. Nfield allows an administrator to configure access on a user-by-user basis. So you can decide and define the scope of activities a certain user can do. All user actions are being tracked, and the domain administrator can review them individually. Data is backed up as well via geo-replication. This means that all the data that is stored in an SQL data center database server is being replicated to another data center for disaster, preventing things like disasters, so work can continue. We will discuss that later in a little bit more detail. Data, of course, is encrypted, both at rest and in transit, and it's secured by SSL. And as the last security management facility, we can offer a local data storage option. By this, we mean that suppose you have a specific requirement to store your data on a different location than the central server, then this is possible. So we can separate the survey deployment from the storing of the survey data, something also we will look at in a little bit more detail later. Yeah, finally, there are some specific security measures for Nfield KP. The first being there is only minimal information that is available to the users. In this case, the interviewer working on the tablet doing the interviews. The interviewer will only see the project that this person is working on and the sample and addresses that this person is working on. This person will not have access to any other information that does not pertain to the work that this person needs to do. Also, if you want to stop, revoke access, you can simply remove the work that is being assigned to this person, and after a sync, all these projects will be removed from the interview device. The second point is secure device sharing. You can have a tablet that is being used by multiple interviewers, but via their secure login, it is ensured that no data can be shared among these interviewers, so they only have access to their own projects. And finally, the questionnaire is encoded, same as the survey data, so all information that is stored on the device cannot be tampered with. The interviewer cannot change the survey or data. It is all encrypted, so there is no access to that. Then, of course, you also have a set of security controls. First of all, let's talk about a few items on authentication. You can create a two-factor authentication for Nfield accounts. So if secured with two-factor authentication, the users are required to enter a code generated by a standard authenticator app when logging in to Nfield. There's also a basic login with a password policy. This means that the passwords that are being used with Nfield, you can bring them in line with what you are using within your company for other applications. So you can set things like when will the password expire? Can an old password be reused? And of course, the strength of the password, you can set that as you want to do for your other logins for your staff. And the third option is the single sign-on. This is mostly an enterprise feature where Nfield can be set up to use Office 365 accounts for the Nfield login. The administration of the Nfield user accounts is then centralized in your organization's single sign-on layer. Big benefit of that is, of course, that there's a single point where the user is being authenticated. So if a person leaves the organization, once a single sign-on is removed, then there is no access anymore to any application, including Nfield. Second control for your security is the GDPR compliance. Hot topic a couple of years ago, not as much talked about recently anymore. I guess all these features have become a quite hygienic set of features that need to be provided. So the controls that you have for GDPR are that you can delete or pseudonymize interviews, you can search across multiple surveys for respondents, and you can anonymize the data in surveys. And finally, as a security control, you can set up survey groups and thereby restrict the access to certain parts of Nfield. And this is done by assigning users with specific roles which only grant them access to designated areas and functionality. Very useful if you, for example, are working with a third-party fieldwork partner who only needs access to the survey where you are jointly collaborating on. Other use case could be that you do an internal HR survey about employee satisfaction, and you want to carefully guard that data so that only people that need to have access can access that confidential employee data. Yes, these security controls are underpinned by two core foundations, and that is that you're not only benefiting from the NIPO security that we offer, but also hosting on the Microsoft server, you will also benefit from the security that Microsoft provides. Let's start with the NIPO. There are NIPO specialists working on a system, and what this also means is that as a matter of principle, there's only a smallest possible number of NIPO specialists that have access to the Nfield infrastructure to carrying out deployment and maintenance. So that is carefully restricted. Of course, our information security management system is being audited. We are using a company called SGS for that, and we use them for our ISO certification. And the final, ethical hackers are being used by us as well. We do annual technical security assessments of Nfield, and to scrutinize the security procedures every year to evaluate our tools, processes, and people. So that is the NIPO part, and as far as Microsoft, we host Nfield on the Microsoft Azure servers. It is a highly secured cloud environment that is known for trusted performance, extensive data storage, and reliability. Being a true cloud solution also means that we can benefit from the scalability that a cloud server like Azure offers. So what that means is that we can scale up the resources if the volumes are high, and we scale down when that is not needed, and thereby saving on cost. So we can really move with the market and adapt our environment based on the load that there is on the system. And a final point, together with Microsoft, we are able to achieve a really high availability of the Nfield service. I dug up some data for 2025. We have 4 regional deployments. 2 of them had 100% availability, and the other 2 were at 99.98% availability. So, those are very good availability numbers. So our service, is a trusted service for doing research on. Next to the security controls, I would also take a moment to share some information about how extensive we are monitoring the system. The picture that you are seeing is a picture from our Amsterdam office. These are the dashboards that are on the wall. There is a continuous monitoring 24/7, not during office hours, but somebody is always on call from the ops team 24/7. Even if something in the middle of the night is going wrong, the person will get a call and will start investigating the issue and fixing it as well if possible. We do automatic health monitoring. If instances are unhealthy, we take them out of rotation. And we have a status page, and I think it's nice to show. This status page is showing the current status of Nfield. What you see now is all systems are operational. You can see for the deployment of your choice, if all is operational, and or if anything is missing. So this page, if you ever have the impression, is everything working close? Is it on my end that things are not working, or is it on the Nfield system end? We would really suggest go to this web page and check if anything may be wrong. Of course, there is also a past incident, so we are quite transparent. We are logging, I think we go back 3 weeks, every issue that has been happening on the Nfield system. So you can also see what has happened and how that has been mitigated. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, talked a little bit about the auditing, and yeah, in terms of getting external recognition for your efforts into making Nfield a secure solution. It's very important that we have our ISO 27001 certificate. We have been ISO 27001 certified since 2013. Last year, we moved to the 2022 standards. And yeah, this goes together with annual audits, of course. And as it happens, at the moment, we are also being audited. So there was an audit yesterday and an audit today. So we will soon have more information about a new, perhaps a new certificate for the ISO for ISO 27001. Okay, let's move to the second part. Most frequently asked questions. We get the same questions from customers, so we decided let's list a few of them and share with you, so you will know what kind of questions there are commonly about working with Nfield. And the number one question is really people want to know from where is my Nfield data stored. Showing the answer here, yeah, as said, Nfield as a cloud solution is offered from 4 Microsoft Azure centers in Europe and Africa, Asia Pacific, in the Americas, and there is a specific one for China. This has to do with the Great Firewall that is used in China. So it really adds value for us to have a server within China rather than working from the Asia Pacific region. You see a primary location and then the geo-replication location. This is where the data is continuously synced to, so that if anything happens in the primary location, then work can continue in case of disasters on the secondary location. Yeah, if you need to provide this information, look it up. Usually they are quite stable information. We don't move servers often, but as it happens, we are currently moving the China deployment to a new primary location. So if you need to provide that information to a customer or auditor, I would still check if the location is still similar. But in all cases, should the location change, then we would always inform all our customers, of course. Second question, yeah, kind of a follow-up question is, can I store Nfield data in my own country? We discussed this already a little bit there. For that, we have the local data storage option. We have customers, for example, in Singapore that say, okay, we have a bank as a customer and they want the data also stored in Singapore. Then the interview would still run on the Hong Kong server. And then the personal data, the survey data, will be stored on a server, on a Microsoft Azure server in Singapore. What information is stored locally? The open and closed answer data, media captures, there's GPS location data and other paradata, and of course the respondent data. Do take into consideration that if you want to do this, it's an add-on, so there are additional costs involved. So you need to pay the rent of the server in the location of your choice. And some of the features are not available yet. Reporting and fieldwork reporting, data repository, they use a a data server which is only available on the regional level, not on a local level. Also, some advanced quality control feature may not be available. And by default, there is no geographic replication. So the data that you store locally is not replicated. You can do it, but that would add another server in the country of your choice. So that will that will add additional cost if you would like to pursue this. How's data encrypted in Nfield? Yeah, we already talked about Nfield data being encrypted at rest and during transfer. Yeah, it's securely encrypted using SSL with a more secure updated TLS 1.2 protocol. There are specific ciphers that are being used for encryption, both for the password and the data. It's a little bit too technical perhaps to read out, but this is the kind of information that an auditor is quite interested in usually. Next question. How are data backups arranged in Nfield? All data is replicated locally at least 3 times. The data is then replicated geographically to prevent data center failure. That is the geo-replication that we have been talking about. All data has a minimum 30-day backup. And next to that, we carry out a disaster recovery test annually to test all the recovery scenarios that are available for Nfield. Do note that you as a customer are responsible for deleting information from the NIPO platform. When a customer deletes any data, it is guaranteed to be deleted from the primary systems within 15 minutes and from all NIPO Nfield backups within 30 days. A question that we also get sometimes is that, well, suppose there is a security breach in Nfield, how will I get notified? I'm happy to say that we never had a security breach that forced us to notify all customers, but in case it will happen, we do have a process, and we have a dedicated incident response team that will have a plan to mitigate the impact. So there's an investigation session, there's a containment session. We will notify all affected customers, as soon as possible in accordance with legal and contractual obligations. We want to be transparent. As a token of this transparency is also the status page that we have, where we do want to share what has been happening on the system in terms of maintenance and fixes. So in this case, we also we will do our utmost to inform you about anything that happens, and also inform you about the potential security risk that you may face. And of course, then there's the remediation phase, where we will take the corrective measures and address the damage caused by the breach. Other question that we get a lot is, are pen tests conducted for Nfield? Yeah, we do this. As said, we don't call them pen tests, we call them technical security assessments. It's a little bit more broader than a pen test, is what I have been told. They're conducted by Secura, which is a Bureau Veritas company, and it's done on the Nfield system, of course. The last security assessment that we published on our website was performed in May and June 2025, and no critical or high risk were identified by Secura. There was an assessment recently done in June, but I'm currently waiting, or we are currently waiting for the reports. And once we get these, then we will share that as well with external customers. Okay, those were the most commonly asked questions. I would now like to show you a part of the NIPO website with the Nfield Trust Center, which is the place where we have a section that we have created where we have all the security documentation available, and the Nfield evidence portal, our our chat agent, our AI chat agents that you can use. So let me go to the NIPO website. Of course, we have a section which is easily accessible on top, where you can directly access the Nfield Trust Center. There are 3 sections on the Trust Center with documentation. There is security documents, compliance documents, and there are privacy documents. If you go to the security documents, this is the, you will find an Nfield security white paper. This is the, well, the most important document, I would say, the document that contains most security information. Much of it is what we have been discussing today. And yeah, this will continuously be updated based on any change there is in our organization. Also, the ISO document, the ISO certificate is something that we have included, and is also we also offer you the option to verify this. So a direct link to the SGS, our auditor company, to make sure that you can check for yourself that our ISO certificate is still valid. And there is also from the technical security assessment I will share. We are sharing the cover pages. The whole document is too confidential to share. On request, we have shared to auditors the table of contents from time to time. But yeah, this kind of information is usually treated only for internal purposes. Yeah, the security assessment statement is as a separate document also available. See my mouse is a little bit slow. Compliance documents, there you will find the ISO certificate as a separate document and our GDPR and Nfield toolkit. Yeah, it's a comprehensive document that deals with a lot of the requirements that that GDPR has imposed on yeah, a data collection platform, and how that is being dealt with in the Nfield platform. And then finally, we have the privacy, the policies. This is basically a customer privacy policy and an Nfield privacy policy. These are also accessible via the Nfield platform, but we have made them available here as a separate document. And then I will, yeah, I would like to introduce the Nfield Evidence Portal. We first had the idea of putting the AI chat agent just as an open interface on our website, but nowadays, if you run a website, you will know there are many bots are on scrolling through websites continuously, and yeah, we did not want to use our tokens all on the bots, so we have created a login. I will log in with a personal email address for this. We don't do account management. Basically, any person can log in. What you will get is you will get a one-time password, and I have it all as well. Yeah, 917. Which allows you to enter, and you will start with the Nfield Assistant. This is our chat agent, our AI chat agent. This is made using Google Gemini Flashlight. It is a chat agent that only uses the evidence that we have made available to the chat agent. So we have the documents from the Trust Center. We've added an acceptable use policy, the Nfield terms, and we have added a few blog articles. So from this limited set of information, we are really limiting it to that set of information. We are we are only having that made available for the chat agent. So we just discussed this. Where's my data stored in Nfield? So basically, it will take the information from the various documents and will share it. Here you will see the same information. It shares also something about local data storage. You can also, acceptable use policy, for example. How many email invitations can I send in what batch? Let's see. It says 10,000, so this is from the acceptable use policy. So there is really a limited set of evidence that we have made available. We also put a disclaimer at the bottom that it is AI generated. So asking the same question may result in a different answer from time to time. So if you are in doubt, then I would still check this with us. Or rephrase your question. We have tested it ourselves, of course, and it does seem to be quite reliable in terms of the information that it is scrolling through. Suppose you can't answer your question. You have an additional request from an auditor or a customer. Then at this point, you can also create a case file. I wanted to add the second option. Here, you can give a subject, ask us a question, and attach a file, a document that needs to be answered for any of your audits, if you like. And you can send that to us. I have a demo. So basically, there is a case being created there. This is just test dummy data. So you will see a sort of a chat between two parties, and we will try to answer your question. From this, you will get a notification once there is an update. But as I said, it's really like you can store your different case files, but it is picked up by the security team at NIPO. We may delegate it to a third party, which is also an option here. And then, then we can see if we can help you with your security questions. This is as far as I wanted to show about the evidence portal. Let's go to the presentation. Frank, do you have any question?
No, we do not have any questions at this moment.
Okay, good. If you have a question, then of course, please use the chat. We are live for a couple of minutes more. So if you have that, then please ask this now. We are already going to the final remarks. We will make a recording of this session available later this week. Of course, if you have a suggestion for a topic, then please write to your help desk. Frank and I are always keen to know what topic we need to dedicate more time on. Our next session will probably be a queue maker, which is a visual survey creation tool. It will be a session for non-Kantar customers only, because Kantar is working on their own solution. And this is something that we have created, which may help our external customers. But more of that will be shared later. This was, by the way, the last session before the holidays, so I expect that our next session will be in September. Any other questions, Frank?
We have one question coming in: if there are any plans to allow more than one survey group per survey. answer to that. I can answer that. There are not any plans at this moment. If you think you have a decent business case, and this is Kantar, I would say make that case to Mark LaForest. Then he should give this a priority.
Yeah, thanks for answering that, Frank. Then, yeah, we have reached the end of the presentation. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for attending. And yeah, hope this was information. This was good information for you. And yeah, we'll see you at the next academy. Bye-bye.
Bye.